have gone to a Catholic school from the time that I was in kindergarten until I graduated from high school, age 4 to 17. So during the time I had gone to four schools, but they were all private Catholic schools. Here are a few things about Catholic school. Prayer. We prayed all the time. During morning announcements, before we or after we said the Pledge of Allegiance, we would pray, and if people didn't say the prayer aloud, then they would get in trouble. We prayed before most of our classes would start and before lunch. We would also have Mass every week, plus the fact that I went to church every Sunday anyway. Mass wasn't too big of a deal at school because I just thought of it as less time I had to be in class. Now, if the teachers caught you fooling around during Mass, you were basically done. Okay, not really. Usually the teacher would just make you sit next to them. Class size. The schools I went to had a pretty decent amount of students. Now, the thing about most Catholic elementary schools is they went from kindergarten to eighth grade. I was supposed to stay at my first school from the time I was in kindergarten until eighth grade, but I got bullied in school a lot. So my parents decided to pull me out of my first school when I was done with the fifth grade. And then I was bullied at the other school, so I ended up staying there for only 1 year. Anyway, when I started at my first school, I went there with my older sister, who was in the sixth grade at the time. When I finished with the second grade, that was also the year my sister went to high school. I think that's actually when most of kids started messing with me. One of the benefits of having an older sibling go to school with you is that they kept you from getting bullied. Looking back, it seems kind of weird that you had these tiny little kindergartners mixed in with eighth graders that were almost 6 feet tall. Uniforms. We had to wear uniforms. Now, there were certain days a few times a year when we didn't have to wear uniforms, but usually on those days we had to pay to not wear our uniform. It was usually a fundraiser for a club or a class, and we had to pay like $3, and the money would go to whatever thing they were raising money for. For the days that we did wear uniforms, teachers were so strict about uniforms. Like in the winter, when it was really cold, they would yell at us to take our coats off even though we got in the classroom maybe 2 seconds ago. Other teachers would get so angry at you over an untucked shirt. The time I was in kindergarten through the eighth grade, we would have gym either once or twice a week, and on the days we had gym, we would just wear our gym uniform the whole day. They felt like pajamas. Classes. Now, classes at these types of schools were harder, not so much because of the material. Okay, yes, because of the material, but because of the way they were graded. Most public schools, or at least so I've heard, they go on a 10-point grading scale. Before high school, we went on a 7-point grading scale. That meant that an 84 was a C, and anything under 70% was an F. We didn't get pluses or minuses either. A C was a 6. Now, before high school, before we had electives and when there were 20 to 30 students in the whole grade, we all took the same classes. Before the sixth grade, the main teacher, would teach us most of our classes. Like, we would be doing science one period, and then the bell would ring, and the teacher would be like, okay, everybody, pull out your English books. And then we would have what the teachers called special classes. Those were classes like art, music, and gym. We would also have a time where we go to the library and the computer lab. These types of classes we went to once